Junk, Paul Shaw.
Raise your hand if you like to go to Bunnings. Quite a few people who like Bunnings here today. Tell me this, do we have any Bunnings haters with us today? Oh, Judy, would not have predicted you for a Bunnings hater. Quite a few. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters. A few months ago, I went up to my wife. Rachel, I said, I need to go to Bunnings. I need to buy a ladder, some paint, and some nails. Paul, she said to me, that is not the reason why you want to go to Bunnings. The reason why you want to go to Bunnings, Paul, is because there is a sausage sizzle out the front. And you want to buy a sausage. Oh, Rachel, that isn't the reason why I want to go to Bunnings. I need to go to get these things. I need to go. Fine, Paul, she said, fine. You go to Bunnings, Paul. You go to Bunnings. 15 minutes later, I was standing out the front of Hawthorn Bunnings and I was eating a sausage. But for the life of me, I could not remember why I had come to Bunnings for that day. I walked into the store in a bit of a daze, but I knew, fellow Toastmasters, that I had to buy some things. And I thought I'd share with you today what I purchased. The first thing I bought were these Ockie straps. Very handy to have one or two to tie your car boot down sometimes. Now that day at Bunnings, you could either buy one for $2 or you could buy 60 for $60. Now, Mr. Contest Chair, I don't know if your maths is as good as mine, but I did the calculations and it is cheaper to buy the 60. And that's what I did. The other thing I bought that day, fellow Toastmasters, is this contraption. Now this is called the F1 air pump. And it said on the box, inflate tyres like a Formula One pit crew. And as soon as I read that, fellow Toastmasters, I knew that I had to buy this. Now the way I use it to inflate the tyres on my 2-year-old son's pram. He'll be sitting in his pram in the garage and I'll notice that tyre is a little bit flat. I plug it in, just like that. I turn it on and it makes this incredible sound, a little bit like a jackhammer. And every time my son screams, "Mama, Mama!" And every time my wife bursts into the garage, "Paul, what is wrong with you? You know he hates that. Why do you keep buying junk?" A few weeks pass. And I'm back in the garage. My wife walks in. "Paul, what is this old computer doing here on the bench?" Well, Rachel, that computer is very sentimental to me because it's the first computer that I ever bought in the year 1990. Well, Paul, when is the last time that you used that computer? Well, Rachel, it's been a while, Rachel. Paul, I believe that if you haven't used something in the last 12 months, it should either be on the nature strip or in the bin. Well, Rachel, what about that old wedding dress that you have in the cupboard? When is the last time that you wore that? Paul, that is not the same. I'm very attached to that wedding dress, and you should be too, Paul. I am attached to the wedding dress, Rachel. But I'm also attached to this computer. At the end of the day, fellow Toastmasters, my wife allowed me to keep the computer. And I graciously, sir, allowed her to keep the wedding dress. Yep. A few more weeks passed, and I went up to my wife. Rachel, I said, I need to go to Bunnings. I need to buy some rope, a spade, and a lawnmower. Paul, she said to me, Paul, you have a problem, Paul. You have a problem with buying junk so that you can get a sausage. But you go to Bunnings, Paul. You go to Bunnings. But you will leave your credit card at home with me. And I will give you the sum of $2.50 so that you can buy a sausage. Contest chair.